Welcome to Hire Faculty Podcast, Episode 2, where we had the privilege of interviewing Donye Kimal. He's a very dear friend of mine. I met him at Indiana State where we played college football together. He later went on to be an NFL draft pick for the Indianapolis Colts. So today you're going to hear his story, how he got involved with the trucking industry, started his own company from scratch, and is on his way to building wealth for him and his family. Stay tuned. Coming to you live from Hire Faculty Studios. Man, I got somebody here that has been a good friend to me for many years, somebody that I've looked up to. We played Indiana State football together. Older guy, man, is just a leading example, not only on the field, but off the field. And now we're going to talk about his business today. We got Donye Kimal with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
See, what's up, brother?
What's up, man?
I'm Donye Kimal. I got the company from scratch courses where I'm showing courses for the culture. I'm showing our people how to start their own trucking companies, how to start their own freight brokerage companies, and how to start their own dispatching companies.
Okay.
And I'm really just glad I'm in a position to do it because there was a point in time where I didn't know if I was ever going to be able to give my contribution. You know what I mean? But I always been this person and wanted to do it, so I'm just really just grateful that I'm actually in a position to do it.
Okay, so take us back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about who you are and your upbringing.
I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Man, West Dayton. I met you at college. After that, I feel like I kind of veered off path a little bit from there. I dropped out of school to chasing my NFL dreams, and when that didn't work, I got into some things I shouldn't have got into, found myself in some trouble. And, but that trouble actually helped me get my life on the right path. You know what I mean? And I found myself in a situation where I needed a job and couldn't get one because I had a felony on my record. And it was just like, man, and by the grace of God, some real brother gave me a job, and I saw what he was doing, and I just I started learning it, and I knew I needed my own company, and I worked for him for probably 2 or 3 months, and after that, man, it was I started my own company, and I started going, and then later that same year, I started a freight brokerage company, and that's when it was like, man, I've really been playing the wrong game. You know what I mean? So. And then right then and there, I knew with the kind of success that I was seeing and what I was doing that I was gonna have to teach. So I started planning these courses out, a while ago. I'm just now getting to it. So. Okay, so
for someone who doesn't know anything about the freight brokerage business, can you kind of explain what that is?
So a freight broker in general is the middleman. A freight broker is the middleman between a shipper and a trucking company. So you got a manufacturing company or big distributors like Walmart who might need to everybody got to transport their products. They might need 10 trucks to transport something from Ohio to New York, and they're not in the trucking business, so they don't want to work with 100 different trucks. They don't want to work with 10 different trucks.
Right.
So they're going to work with one broker, and that one broker or that freight brokerage company will work with however many different trucks that they need to work with. So Walmart would contract with me as the broker, and I would turn around and I would hire trucks to actually get the job done. And if, let's just say I'm getting paid $3,000 per load, I would turn around and pay a truck $2,000 per load, and I would keep $1,000 as profit for myself. So that's what a broker does. Okay,
so how much money, the reason why I'm asking these specific questions
Don't get me robbed.
Oh, no, definitely won't get you robbed, bro. There's just a lot going on with the world right now. COVID-19's got people scrambling for,
of course,
side hustles and different types of ways to make income. So with that being said, how much money would I be looking at to start something like this, and what type of experience would I need to have?
I started my trucking company with $2,500. Now I bumped my head a few times, so a normal person might need a little more than that, but the thing about buying courses is you know exactly what you got to do and what to expect. Now that's a trucking company. Now my freight brokerage company, I started with $1,300, and that is, not to mess up the trucking game or nothing, but brokers make a lot more money than the trucks.
Okay.
And then dispatching, and which I always tell people hit me up all the time, like, which one should I do, dispatching or brokering or dispatching? And I just like, I know I love to broker. Brokering is much more lucrative, but dispatching is easy. You can easily get in and start making money fast as a dispatcher.
Okay. And what is the Paul? Let's pause for a second. What is the dispatching role?
So what a dispatcher does, a dispatcher basically finds work for trucks. So you got a lot of people who drive trucks. They own their own trucks, so they don't have time to find the work and handle the paperwork that goes on behind the scene when it comes to booking loads. So they would hire a dispatcher. So a dispatcher would work with a broker to book work for the trucks.
Okay.
And of course, they get a small percentage of each load that they book for the trucks.
Okay, gotcha.
I got a question too. Seems like it could get hectic because products get shipped every day, and sometimes orders are, rush orders. How does it work from a timing perspective? Like, what is the process on the job?
Everybody, the brokers, the trucks, the shippers, we all in a rush to get everything done. The shippers in a rush to get their product shipped. We in a rush to make money and conduct business. So it's trucks already on standby. Like, let's say, like, if it was a rush on the order here in Ohio, right? It's already 1,000 trucks sitting here waiting. So if somebody called me and say, yo, I need this in a rush, I might have to charge them a little more to get it done. But you best believe it's gonna get done because there's people here that's already waiting for me to let them know that I got a load in that area. So.
Okay. Now this opportunity, is this something that you have to start on your own? Like, are you hiring people? How does it work?
I mean, you can hire people. Me personally, I haven't got to the point where I've hired people yet. As far as my freight brokerage, I hired a freight broker agent one time, and it was such a bad experience, I kind of veered away from it. And I think I'm just now to the point where I'm ready to get back to that idea. It was obviously, whenever something bad happens, a loss, you got to learn from it. So I learned a lot from it. And I got some other things that I'm wanting to get into now. So like I said, I'm just now getting to that point where I'm even considering bringing on freight broker agents. But yeah, if you own your own freight brokerage company, most freight brokers don't know anything about owning their own company. They don't know anything about getting their own license. So most of the time, it might be somebody. I've had a guy who told me he was a freight broker for 10 years, and he already had a book of business and everything. And I'm like, man, why don't you just start your own business? Yeah. And he was like, oh, I just don't have the money. But he didn't realize it's not money you lacking, it's information you lacking. I didn't teach him the game at that time, the game to be sold, not to be told, but he didn't know the business. He didn't know you don't need any money. There's a way that we get everybody paid in this business, and that's what people who teach the courses, that's what they teach. Okay. But all in all, you don't have to, like, if I didn't want to, I wouldn't have to broker at all. I could just bring on 10 freight broker agents and let them do their business and take a piece of everybody's take a percentage of everybody's money and make a good living, make a decent living.
Okay.
We met a few days ago for the first time, and I'm just I want to dive into the youth. Like,
yeah.
So you played college football with Larry. Mm-hmm. What type of guy? What type of athlete were you? What type of teammate were you?
I was a beast.
Hey. What position?
Hey, long story short, I played safety. Mm-hmm. It's hard to say, like, our circumstances in college was different than normal people's. We lost every single game we ever played. Well, I think they went on to win a little bit after I left, but when I was there, the first time we won was my very last game, so that makes you a different person. So I think I might have been a little more hard on guys than I had to be at some point in time. Remember the time I almost punched CJ Cook at the 7-on-7?
Yep.
I was like, man, I felt bad about that. Yeah. But it was so like, who want to lose? Like, I just wasn't okay with losing. My dad called me one day like, man, are you all right? I ain't got to worry about putting you on suicide watch, dude. I was like, nah, it ain't that deep. But like, I came from a winning program, and I never, just that whole losing thing, because it changed the whole culture at school. Like the teachers talk bad about us in class, the students talk bad about us, girls laugh at you when you say you on a football team. It wasn't supposed to be like that. Yeah. It was like, that was wild to me, you know what I mean? And my spirit was broke, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was, it was a different, it was a different experience. But I felt like I did push at least the defensive guys to bring the best out of them that I could. When LC messed up, he knew he had to come and see me. I say that. You know what I mean?
For real.
I played a little safety myself.
Nice.
What gave you the sense of urgency to become an entrepreneur and not just get a job?
Well, well, my dad owned a business when I was young. My dad owned a business, and I remember him. My dad had a felony when I was little. And it's so wild because I kind of always been this person. I wrote this paper in 6th grade about my dad not being able to get a job and all of this stuff and it just wasn't right to me. You know what I mean? But, he had a business, and I always knew that I wanted to have a business. I just didn't know anything about business, I remember when I was getting ready for the draft, right? And I remember Jacksonville had called me and they was like, yo, we gonna draft you in the 6th round and all this, really gassing me up, but you know, they didn't draft me, obviously. But I remember I was talking to Nut. You know, me and Nut was talking, he was like, Nut was telling me like, man, I think you can play in the league for like 10 years and be a Pro Bowler and all of this stuff. And I just told him, I was like, man, you know, I really don't want to play in the NFL that long. I didn't like football anymore because we were losing in college. My spirit was broken from football. And I was like, you know, I'm going to probably play for like 2 years, 3 years, save up my money, and I'm going to start me a business. And he thought I was crazy. You know, all my homies did. Like, what are you talking about? This is the dream. But for me, it just wasn't the dream. Ultimately, I understood something too. Like, I didn't like the fact that this football thing, I didn't know what it was at that time, but it had all this power over me. It determined how my day was going to go. It determined my mentality at that time. It determined whether I was happy or sad. And it's like, if I don't play football, what am I going to do? And it was around that time where I started figuring out, like, man, I got to figure something out, you know, because this depending on somebody, it just wasn't it for me, you know.
Right, and I think we kind of all go through that loss of identity because it was the same thing for me.
Yeah.
You know, once I was done, I almost was like, who am I? Because everyone would see me and talk about football. They didn't even know any interest that I had outside of that. So I kind of endured some of those struggles. But just to kind of highlight some things, what we went through at Indiana State, and for people who don't know, we were on the nation's longest losing streak for D1 football.
We was ranked last 116, if I'm not mistaken, out of 116 teams in the country.
Yeah, and those stats do not discredit the athletes that were there. I mean, like, there were very high caliber athletes. Like, he made it to the NFL. We had people who went to the Canadian League. I mean, you name it. I mean, it's just crazy. So with what we experienced, how has it helped you, or has it helped you in business or life, you know, today?
Man, most definitely. For one, you look at, you know, even not even from a personal standpoint, but just looking at from a program. And I really admire Coach Miles when he came in there, what he did, even though a lot of us at the time he was doing it, kicking people off the team and stuff, we didn't understand. But when you build an entire program that's comprised of so many different pieces, so many different people, you know, it's so much more to winning or to being profitable in business than just the salesman on the floor or just the football player on the field. It starts from the very top. You're talking about the president of the school, the athletic director, the trainers, the coaches, you know, all of these different pieces that's outside of the recruiters, you know what I mean? Because we didn't have the pieces that we needed to win at the end of the day.
Shout out
and that goes to business too, you know what I mean?
Shout out to anyone who recruited. I mean, because we were still getting recruits, you know what I'm saying? So they were selling that dream of, you know, being on the nation's longest losing streak. I mean, I still ended up there. So.
Yeah, and after I left, I know they brought in some hogs. They brought in some beasts, you know what I mean? So
Robert Tunyon's playing for Green Bay right now. Shout him out. I mean, he's actually out there catching passes from Aaron Rodgers and scoring touchdowns.
That's dope.
So, I mean,
that's dope. Yeah. I don't even. He came after me.
Yeah, he was even after me.
Oh, okay.
But Indiana State's on the map now, man. But they don't know that, like, it started from us, bro.
Man,
like,
listen, we got to make a movie about that someday.
No, we really do.
I still can't believe some of the things that I saw and experienced. Like, just the stuff we was doing. I know you might have been a little bit on the other side of the fence, you know, about the people I was hanging with and where we was at a lot of the times. You know, we was fighting all the time. It was just crazy. Like, how we gonna win football games like, you know, like this, and regular people from Terre Haute looking for us want to fight us? Like, bro, like, what is?
Listen, man,
we can't win no games like that, man.
Not to stray too far off topic, but I saw someone get shot on my visit.
Yeah,
like that was bro.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
We need to do a part 2 of just straight Indiana State, so we'll get back on topic.
Hey,
but,
that was your visit?
That was my visit. I was in the car with y'all, like, all I kept saying was, can someone please take me home? But anyways.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious. And man, I like what you said about winning starts at the top, you know, in athletic programs, but in business as well. Like, I come from the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, I played college basketball.
Right.
I was inducted into a winning program. And then it was like, I saw how everything was structured. And I even used some of that structure to this day. Like, I remember us having a team meeting before the season, and our coach wrote down on the board what it would take to win the conference championship. And it was something that they did before. And I found myself going back to that even to this day. It's like, how do I reach my end goal? What does that look like?
Yeah.
How do I put it on paper to get there?
Yeah.
So shout out to Coach Wesley. You know, that's
right.
a plug.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it starts at the top, man.
Definitely.
And how the culture is so important.
Yeah.
Not just in sports.
Yeah.
But in life, period.
Yeah, and it starts with the mentality of the people at the top too. Cause like not to take anything away from who was coaching before Coach Miles came, but like he just did such a great job of getting the entire community. Like I mean, the mayor, Deaver Distributing, big business owners. I mean, everybody was involved when Coach Miles got there. The whole community, we was out in the community and people accepted us and they wasn't scared of us. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it just, he did a good job. And you know, you take those things into business, you know, when especially when you the one starting it, because your mentality and how you maneuver and what you're doing, when you go to hire people, that's what you got to expect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
For sure. So tell us some of your future goals. I mean, how long have you been doing this? I don't think I asked this.
I started my trucking company at the end of 2018, and then I started my freight brokerage company in the middle of 2019.
Okay. Okay. So fairly new.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years if you continue on this path that you're on now?
You know, honestly, I've got out of the trucking aspect of the business. You know, I don't know if it's something I would do again. You know, it wasn't really my thing, especially with the overhead and all of that. So when COVID hit, I saw it as an opportunity to get out, and I got out. But my freight brokerage, I think, I'm almost certain I'm gonna keep my freight brokerage forever, just because, man, like, it's just, it's cheap. I really don't have no overhead, probably for the year, maybe $3,000 or $4,000 for the year in overhead, and it's extremely lucrative. And now it's to the point where, you know, I don't really, you know, I got my contracts, I got the people that I work with, I got my trucks that I work with, so I'm able to do stuff like this, and I don't have to work as hard as I was working when I was getting it going. So it's kind of just on autopilot. So if anything, I might start adding some freight broker agents and stuff like that. But as we move into the future, man, like I really want to, I know for certain, I really want to attack this consulting thing. Like, this is my passion. Our people lack knowledge, you know what I mean? So anything, not even just with the trucks, anything that I go on and learn, credit, trucks, real estate, anything that I go on and get into, I feel like I got a divine duty to come back and give it to the culture. You know what I mean? Because that's what I feel like. I don't want to discredit nobody, but that's what I feel like our era missed when we was coming up and in college and stuff. Like, we didn't get to see Facebook ads of people teaching real estate and you know, so we just, when I came out of college, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like, when football didn't work, I was like, yo, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really wanna attack this consulting thing, man. And you know, outside of that, of course, continue definitely real estate. I got to get back in. I got to redeem myself. I failed miserably the first time. So I definitely got to get back into real estate. And to be honest, man, like, entrepreneurship is like, I feel like it's our duty. You know what I mean? As black men in America, it's our duty. We don't wake up as kids like, I just want to be an entrepreneur. This is my passion. But, you know, we got to pass down something to our children. We can't keep running in circles doing the same thing. We got to have some type of assets and businesses, finance, something to pass down. You know, so I feel like entrepreneurship is our duty, but I also got passions. Like I told you, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm really a film writer and director. I'm really a musician, you know what I mean? But entrepreneurship is important because once you get to the point where you're completely self-sufficient, when you come back and say, nah, I got an album, they're going to be like, man, you too damn old to be rapping. But I can still do it because it doesn't matter. I don't need, you know what I mean? I'm not desperate. You know what I mean? The first time I attempted to make music, I was desperate. Like, if this don't work, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And
I was rocking with you so hard.
I mean, a lot of people were, but it's like, I wasn't making no money. So, and the money I was making, I had to do things that was gonna land me somewhere else. You know what I mean? So, you know, entrepreneurship is the path. Once we do that, and that's my advice to even like all upcoming artists and even like athletes and young people in general. Like, first things first, you got to find a way to be self-sufficient. You got to have a skill so that you can be self-sufficient. Once you're self-sufficient, you can go on and do whatever you want to do, because if that don't work, you still got this. You know what I mean? But you can't pass no rap videos down to your kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
Can't pass no, I don't know what, I guess like TikTok video, whatever they doing out here. You can't pass that stuff down to your kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I agree 100% with you saying that it's our duty to be entrepreneurs as black men, because our parents didn't have these opportunities. You know?
Right,
Like,
exactly.
we were growing up, the internet wasn't around or as accessible. And
Right.
So we got so many resources and outlets to express ourselves and do what we want to do that I feel like it's our duty. We have to do something. So
Yeah, and I'm in
shout out
agreement.
to you, man.
For
Big
sure,
shout
brother.
out to you
For
that.
sure, I appreciate that, brother. For sure.
LC.
So I do want to just kind of recap on some things. So your business sounds absolutely phenomenal, just like a lot of other opportunities out here. Can you kind of elaborate on, like, I'm just going to naturally assume it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like, there is some hard work.
Oh, you know what? That's funny because somebody DM'd me earlier and they said, man, is this dispatching thing is really as easy as you say it is? Well, first of all, if you think what I'm telling you is me saying it's easy, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it's an easy process. And I'm saying if you got the ability to think a little bit, it's easy for you to do it. But if you're going to build something that's going to last, something that's going to sustain, it's going to be hard. You know, when I started my trucking company, man, I could sit here easily and tell y'all, you know, yeah, I found a way to generate $3,000 to $4,000 a week. But guess what? When I started my company, I didn't have a truck. I didn't have a CDL. I didn't have no knowledge of the business. So when I started going on the road, I had to drive myself. And I was in a box truck. So you don't make the same money in a box truck, $3,000 to $4,000 a week. To somebody ain't in the business might think that's a lot of money, but the big boy truck's bringing in $7,000 to $8,000 a week. You know what I mean? But I'm driving my own truck. At one point in time, I was running for I don't want to say the name of the company I was running for, but I was running for them, and I would do that from about 1 in the morning to about 7 in the morning. So 1 in the morning to about 7 in the morning, but it was a 2-hour drive from home. So I get back about 9:30, but right from there I go pick up my other little guy that I hired, and we was running for another company where we was delivering treadmills and stuff like that and putting together workout equipment for people, and I wouldn't get done with that until almost 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And then as soon as I get home, I gotta kiss my son, I gotta kiss my wife, and I gotta hurry up and get in the shower and hurry up and eat and get in the bed. I literally had like an hour and a half to do that because I gotta get up and do it all again, and if I don't get enough sleep on the road, it's extremely dangerous.
Wow.
And I did that like for 5-6 months, you know what I mean? So it's not easy.
Yeah.
If anybody tell you starting a business ain't easy in general, we starting from nothing, you know what I mean? It's easy if you got $1 million and you can employ everybody to do what you need them to do and take the losses until the business goes into profit, then it'll be easy. But other than that, man, there's nothing easy about, I'm assuming, about any business. It's gonna be work. But to touch on that, because it's gonna be people that say, man, well, I got the dispatching and I just didn't work for me, Look, everything ain't for everybody. You know, I went into wholesaling real estate at one point in time, and I would be a fool to sit here and say it didn't work. It doesn't work because people are doing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It wasn't for me. It wasn't my thing. You know, so I decided for me, with real estate, I like the buying houses and flipping it aspect. So I know I need to get my money up so I can get into that aspect rather than doing the wholesaling because it wasn't my thing.
Right.
But ain't none of it gonna be easy, you know.
Cool.
Filmmaking is my passion as well, man. So talk to me about your dream project. Like, what are some of the things that you're interested in doing?
Well, you know I got to keep quiet on it because I don't want nobody stealing my ideas. But like per our conversation the last time, I know so much about American history that our people don't know. And what I'm assuming most people in the world probably don't know because there's been so much reconstruction that went on to this point. So I feel like it's my divine duty to get out here and make film about it. You know, like I told him, like everybody think pyramid culture is African culture. Pyramid culture is American culture. The oldest pyramid in the world is in America. When world scientists look to study the most ancient civilizations in the world, they don't look to Africa, they look to South America. But see, that's stuff that we don't know because we've been conditioned to never look at American history at all. Think about it, especially us. We don't look at American history at all. We go straight to African history. And once you get back to the 13th century, there is no African history. It goes right into Moorish history. So, you know, if you don't know that, you don't even know African history. But this how reconditioned we've been. And I just feel like somebody with so much passion for history, and I spend so much time studying, and I got a duty to find a way to teach it. And I think film is the best way.
Absolutely.
Especially since they making film about our history and taking us out of it. Exactly. You know, we're going to be honest.
Man, that sounds amazing, bro. And if I can support you in any way,
for sure, brother.
We will, man.
I appreciate it.
Look forward to it in the future.
For sure, brother.
Likewise, man. On the music tip, the film tip, the real estate tip, any way we can help. Shout yourself out, man. Where can we find you? Where can we get your course, more importantly?
Like I said, I'm Donye Kimal. You can find me on Instagram at Donye Kimal, DonyeKimal. And the link is in my bio to get to any stuff I got going on. You can get right to it.
Cool, man. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure you check him out. Until next time, Higher Faculty Studios, out.
And when you come up, stay down. You heard?